Commander Reyna Patel stared at the peculiar sight before her, a 7-foot-tall crystalline being attempting to use chopsticks. Ambassador Zixthor's translucent appendages trembled slightly as they manipulated the wooden utensils, determined to master this human custom. Perhaps we could provide alternative cutlery, Reyna suggested diplomatically, watching rice grains scatter across the negotiation table. No, no, Zixthor's melodic voice chimed, faceted surface reflecting the station's ambient lighting. I wish to experience authentic Earth cuisine as intended. Your species' dedication to inefficient eating implements is fascinating. The impromptu dining session had emerged from what was supposed to be a standard first contact protocol meeting aboard Starbase Epsilon. When discussion turned to cultural exchange, Zixthor had expressed intense curiosity about human food traditions. Remarkable, the ambassador declared, finally succeeding in delivering a morsel to their intake port. This flavor profile, it's reminiscent of crystalline veil songbirds from my homeworld. Reyna blinked in surprise. You mean it tastes like chicken? Chicken? Zixthor's surface rippled in confusion. What is this chicken you speak of? That's actually what you're eating. Chicken teriyaki. It's a bird we raise for food on Earth. The ambassador's crystalline form pulsed with intrigue. Fascinating. We must compare notes. Throughout my diplomatic travels, countless species have described their native delicacies as tasting similar to these songbirds. Could there be a connection? Before Reyna could respond, the station's alert system blared to life. Commander Patel to operations. Urgent transmission from Earth Command. Duty calls. Reyna sighed, rising from her seat. Rain check on the culinary discussion. Rain check. Zixthor chimed in confusion. It means we'll continue this later, she explained with a smile. Ah, another fascinating human idiom. But yes, I believe this conversation merits further exploration. The message waiting in ops turned out to be far more relevant to their interrupted discussion than either could have anticipated. Reports were flooding in from across the galaxy about a mysterious corporation buying up food production facilities and somehow altering the fundamental taste of various species' cuisines. The Nexian Corporation, Admiral Chen's hologram explained grimly. They've discovered some way to manipulate the universal taste receptor that makes everything comparable to, well, chicken. Reyna ventured, thinking of her recent conversation with Zixthor. Precisely. And they're using this knowledge to gain control of the galactic food market. We need you to investigate, Commander. Your station's unique position and your new diplomatic contact make you ideally suited. As the transmission ended, Reyna found Zixthor waiting outside ops, their crystalline form practically vibrating with excitement. Commander, I've been consulting with my government. This taste phenomenon you call chicken, it's not just a coincidence. Someone is manipulating the fundamental flavor profiles across the galaxy. I know, Reyna replied grimly. How do you feel about a joint human crystalline investigation? Zixthor's surface sparkled with enthusiasm. I thought you'd never ask. Though perhaps we should order more of that teriyaki while we plan. For research purposes, of course. Reyna couldn't help but smile. What had started as a simple diplomatic meal was about to become something much bigger. A mission to uncover the truth behind the galaxy's most mysterious flavor, and perhaps save the culinary freedom of countless species in the process. As they headed back to the station's dining area, Reyna realized that food had once again proven to be the ultimate universal language, even if some species needed a little help with the chopsticks. The Nexian Corporation's headquarters loomed over New Singapore's skyline like a twisted metal lotus, its petals reflecting the setting sun. Reyna adjusted her civilian attire, feeling naked without her uniform. Beside her, Zixthor had modified their crystalline structure to appear more humanoid, though they still drew curious glances from passersby. Remember, Reyna whispered, we're food critics writing a piece on corporate innovation in the culinary sector. Indeed, Zixthor chimed softly. though I still don't understand why my natural form would draw suspicion. Surely a food critic should have refined taste receptors. That's actually not bad logic, Raina admitted, suppressing a smile. But we're trying to avoid attention. Their cover story got them through the initial security checkpoints. The lobby was a testament to Nexian's wealth. Floating holograms showcased their latest food products, while antigraph platforms carried elaborate sample dishes to waiting clients. Interesting, Six Thor murmured, their crystalline surface analyzing the chemical compositions of passing dishes. These all contain trace elements of a compound I've never encountered before. Their tour guide, a perpetually smiling woman named Diana Thorne, appeared from a side door. Welcome to Nexian. We're so excited to share our vision for the future of galactic cuisine with you. As they followed Diana through sterile white corridors, Raina noticed something odd. Every employee they passed was eating something from the company cafeteria, and their expressions were vacant, happy, but in an unsettling way. Our latest innovation, Diana was saying, gesturing to a massive laboratory visible through transparent steel windows, is our Universal Taste Enhancement Protocol. UTEP ensures that every species experiences their food exactly as they prefer it. Fascinating, Zix Thor chimed, their surface rippling with barely contained excitement. And how exactly does one determine a species' preferred taste? Diana's smile never wavered. We've discovered that most species have a specific flavor profile they find universally appealing. For humans, it's often compared to chicken. For crystallines like yourself, it's those lovely songbirds from your home planet. Raina felt a chill. They hadn't mentioned Zix Thor's species. Of course, Diana continued, her smile growing sharper. Some might question the ethics of controlling what billions of beings taste. But imagine, no more culinary conflicts, no more diplomatic incidents over state dinners, pure gustatory harmony, and significant profits for Nexian, Raina added carefully. Well, progress requires capital, Diana laughed. Now, would you like to sample our latest product line? Before either could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Diana's smile finally faltered as she checked her communicator. Oh dear, it seems we have a containment breach in Lab 7. If you'll excuse me. The moment she left, Raina and Zix Thor exchanged glances. Lab 7. Zix Thor chimed questioningly. 3 floors down, East Wing, Raina replied, having memorized the building schematics. Want to bet that's where they keep their secret recipes. They moved quickly through the corridors, using the chaos of the alarm as cover. Employees rushed past them, all still wearing those unsettling vacant smiles. When they reached Lab 7, they found its doors sealed but its windows cracked, leaking a strange, shimmering vapor. The compound is unstable, Zix Thor observed, their crystalline form analyzing the escaping gas. It's breaking down into its base components, including by the first crystal. What is it? Raina asked, noting their distress. Crystalline Vel songbird essence. They've been harvesting our sacred birds to create their flavor control compound, combined with, yes, Earth chicken DNA. The 2 species must share some fundamental taste receptor that resonates across all known life forms. Before Raina could process this revelation, Diana's voice rang out behind them. Impressive deduction. Though I'm afraid this inspection is now concluded. They turned to find themselves surrounded by security forces, all wearing filtered masks and carrying neural disruptors. Diana's smile was back, but now it held no pretense of warmth. You really should have accepted my offer to sample our products, she said, her voice dripping with false regret. The compliance compounds are much more pleasant when taken voluntarily. Raina shifted into a defensive stance as Zix Thor's form began to pulse with gathering energy. What had started as an investigation into unusual food trends had just become a fight for the free will of every food lover in the galaxy. And somewhere in the chaos, a question still lingered. What was it about chicken that made it the key to controlling the taste buds of an entire galaxy? The annual Galactic Gastronomy Festival transformed Titan's largest biodome into a maze of food stalls, cooking demonstrations, and culinary innovations. Reyna and Zixthor, having narrowly escaped Nexion's headquarters through a combination of quick thinking and crystalline energy manipulation, now found themselves undercover among the galaxy's most renowned chefs and food enthusiasts. Their distribution network must be centered here, Reyna muttered, sampling a luminescent soup while scanning the crowd. What better way to introduce their compound than through the galaxy's biggest food event? Zixthor, disguised as an elaborate ice sculpture centerpiece, chimed softly. My sensors detect trace amounts of the compliance compound in approximately 60% of the dishes being served. The concentration is subtle, but increasing. The festival buzzed with activity. Beings from across the galaxy wandered between stalls, their expressions growing increasingly serene as they sampled more dishes. Near the center, a massive Nexian pavilion drew crowds with promises of universal flavor harmony. Commander, Zixthor's voice held an urgent note. I'm detecting something disturbing. The compound isn't just affecting taste, it's altering neural pathways. Each exposure makes consumers more susceptible to suggestion. Reyna watched a group of Venusian diplomats exit the Nexian pavilion, their typically fierce expressions replaced with placid smiles. They're building an army of happy eaters. But why? Think bigger, a gravelly voice interrupted. They turned to find a scarred Martian chef named Axe, his forearms crossed over his stained apron. What's the one thing every species in the galaxy needs? Food, Reyna realized. Control the food. Control everything. Vax finished. I've been watching Nexian for months. They're not just a corporation. They're a revolution waiting to happen, one taste at a time. The Martian led them to his kitchen station, where hidden screens displayed surveillance footage of the festival. I'm part of an underground network of chefs resisting Nexian's influence. We call ourselves the Flavor Liberation Front. That's actually a pretty good name, Reyna admitted. The compound has another effect. Vax continued, his red skin darkening with concern. It makes traditional foods taste wrong, unsatisfying. People become dependent on Nexian-enhanced products. Soon, they'll control the entire galactic food supply. A commotion near the Nexian pavilion drew their attention. Diana Thorne had arrived, accompanied by security forces trying hard to look like casual festival attendees. She scanned the crowd with predatory intensity. She's looking for us, Reyna muttered. The compound breakdown in Lab 7 must have revealed more than they wanted exposed. Then perhaps, Zixthor chimed, their crystalline form shifting with excitement. We should give her something to find. I have an idea, but it will require precise timing, and how do humans say it? A pinch of chaos. Vax grinned, all 3 rows of teeth glinting. Chaos is my specialty, especially in the kitchen. They quickly formulated a plan. Vax's resistance network had identified other chefs still serving uncontaminated food. If they could expose Nexian's scheme to the festival attendees before the compound took full effect. One problem, Reyna pointed out. How do we convince people who are already under the compound's influence? With the one thing stronger than any chemical control, Zixthor chimed. Authentic taste. My people believe that true flavors resonate with something deeper than mere taste buds. They touch the soul. That's surprisingly poetic for a being made of crystal, Vax observed. Poetry and flavor are universal languages, Zixthor replied. Now shall we cook up some trouble? As they set their plan in motion, Reyna reflected on how her life had changed since that first chopstick lesson with Zixthor. She'd gone from commanding a space station to joining an underground chef resistance, all because of the galaxy's most mysterious flavor profile. Diana's voice boomed through the festival's speaker system, announcing a special presentation at the Nexian Pavilion. Today, we unite the galaxy through the power of perfect taste. Perfect is boring, Vax growled, firing up his grill. Food should be an adventure. Reyna checked her hidden communicator, confirming that Earth Command's agents were in position around the festival. Everything was ready. Now they just had to serve up the truth before Nexian's compound turned the entire festival into a smiling, mindlessly eating army. Time to find out, she declared, if the galaxy's ready for a new flavor of freedom. The Galactic Gastronomy Festival erupted into controlled chaos. Vax's network of resistant chefs launched their coordinated effort, setting up impromptu cooking stations that filled the biodome with authentic, unaltered aromas. Reyna watched festival-goers pause, their compound-induced smiles wavering as their senses caught familiar scents from their homeworlds. The nose remembers what the mind forgets, Vax declared, his forearms working in perfect harmony as he prepared traditional Martian fire stew. The spicy aroma cut through the artificial pleasantness of Nexian's products, drawing curious onlookers. Zixthor, still maintaining their ice sculpture disguise, had positioned themselves near the Nexian pavilion's ventilation system. Their crystalline structure vibrated at specific frequencies, disrupting the subtle delivery of compliance compounds through the air. Diana Thorne's voice crackled over the festival speakers, a note of strain breaking through her professional veneer. Please proceed to the Nexian Pavilion for a special taste testing event. We promise an experience that will change your relationship with food forever. That's one way to put it, Reyna muttered, activating her communicator. Teams in position. Confirmations came in from Earth Command agents stationed throughout the festival. They'd identified Nexian's main distribution nodes, massive tanks of their compound hidden beneath innocent-looking food stalls. Remember, Reyna broadcast to her teams, we need evidence of their operation before we can move. Keep the civilians clear when things start. A thunderous crash interrupted her instructions. One of Nexian's security forces had recognized Vax, leading to an impromptu demonstration of why you should never challenge a four-armed Martian chef in his own kitchen. The guard went down under a barrage of skillfully thrown cooking implements. So much for subtle. Reyna sighed, then shouted to the gathering crowd, those who want to know what's really in their food, follow me. Diana's practiced composure finally cracked. Stop them. No one leaves until they've completed the tasting. Security forces moved to block the exits, but they hadn't counted on the Flavor Liberation Front's preparations. Chefs from dozens of worlds revealed hidden weapons, everything from Venusian plasma whisks to Jovian pressure cookers modified into smoke dispensers. The compound's influence is weakening, Zixthor chimed, their crystalline form now fully revealed as they maintain their disruptive frequencies. But Nexian's central storage must be neutralized before they can release a stronger dose. Reyna fought her way toward the pavilion's core, using moves learned in both combat training and busy kitchens. A guard rushed her with a neural disruptor. She deflected it with a serving tray and countered with a perfectly timed soup ladle to the temple. Commander, Vax called out, tossing her a small device. Analysis unit from my kitchen. Get a reading on their central compound tank. My people have a theory about its weakness. The pavilion's interior was a maze of pipes and storage units, all leading to a massive central container. Reyna's borrowed scanner confirmed their suspicions. The compound's base structure was destabilizing. It's the frequency. Zixthor chimed excitedly, joining her after dispatching guards with precisely aimed crystal shards. The resonance pattern matches distressed, crystalline Vel songbirds. They can't maintain the compound's stability while the birds are in distress. Diana appeared on a platform above them, her corporate smile replaced with a snarl. You have no idea what you're interfering with. Do you know how long it took us to perfect the molecular structure? How many test subjects we went through? We're creating paradise, a galaxy where every meal brings pure joy. Joy without choice isn't joy, Reyna countered, noting Vax's team moving into position around the tank. It's just another form of control. And who are you to decide? Diana demanded. Just because humans discovered that their simple farm birds somehow hold the key to universal taste satisfaction, the compound perfects what nature started. No, Zixthor's voice rang out, their crystalline form glowing with gathered energy. The compound perverts what nature created. True harmony cannot be forced. It must be discovered, shared, celebrated. With that declaration, they released a pulse of crystalline energy, tuned to the exact frequency of distressed songbirds. The central tank's contents began to vibrate, its carefully maintained molecular structure unraveling. No, Diana lunged for the control panel, but Reyna was faster. Their brief struggle ended with the corporate executive restrained and the tank's contents thoroughly neutralized. As Earth Command forces secured the facility, festival-goers began to shake off the compound's influence. The air filled with a cacophony of voices as beings from across the galaxy rediscovered their true taste preferences. Not exactly the quiet investigation we planned, Reyna remarked to Zixthor as they watched Thax's team begin serving genuine, unaltered meals to the recovering crowd. Perhaps not, the crystalline being chimed happily. But I believe humans have a saying. The proof is in the pudding. Close enough, Reyna laughed. Though I think in this case, it was in the chicken all along. 1 month after the Gastronomy Festival incident, Starbase Epsilon's main dining hall hosted an unprecedented event. The first Galactic Truth and Taste Summit. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered to address the aftermath of Nexion's scheme and establish new protocols for interstellar cuisine. Reyna surveyed the scene from her position at the keynote podium. Vax's cooking team had outdone themselves, preparing authentic dishes from across the galaxy. Zixthor stood nearby, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns that convey both excitement and contentment. The investigation has revealed the full scope of Nexion's operation, Reyna began, addressing the assembled delegates. They discovered that Earth chickens and crystalline veil songbirds share a unique molecular structure that resonates with most species' taste receptors. By synthesizing and manipulating this structure, they nearly succeeded in controlling the galaxy's food supply. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. A Venusian representative raised her hand. But why do these particular creatures hold such power over taste? Zixthor chimed in, their voice carrying the authority of both scientist and diplomat. Our research suggests it's not about power, but harmony. These creatures evolved on worlds that demanded adaptability. Their protein structures learned to complement rather than dominate, much like how various species can come together to create something greater than themselves. Like this summit, Vax added, setting down a tray of perfectly grilled dishes that combined ingredients from multiple worlds. True flavor doesn't need control. It needs understanding, respect, and a little bit of adventure. The delegates sampled Dax's creations, their expressions ranging from surprise to delight. No artificial compounds, no forced harmony, just genuine tastes enhanced by skillful combination. Earth Command and the Galactic Council have established new regulations. Reyna continued. All food products must now carry complete ingredient listings, and taste-altering compounds are strictly controlled. But more importantly, we're establishing the Interstellar Culinary Exchange Program. Screens around the hall displayed images of cooking schools, research facilities, and cultural centers. The program will promote understanding through food, not by making everything taste the same, but by celebrating our differences and discovering natural harmonies. And the first exchange will be between Earth and the crystalline veils, Zixthor announced proudly. We've already identified several Earth chefs eager to study with our crystal smiths, learning how sound frequencies can enhance natural flavors. As the summit continued, Reyna found herself at a quiet table with her unlikely allies. Vax was teaching Zixthor the finer points of Martian spice appreciation, while various diplomats stopped by to share stories of rediscovering their cultural cuisines after Nexion's influence faded. You know, Reyna mused, watching a young Earth chef enthusiastically discuss technique with a Jovian gastronome. When I first tried to teach you to use chopsticks, I never imagined it would lead to all this. The universe works in mysterious ways, Zixthor chimed thoughtfully. Though I still maintain that eating implements should be more geometrically efficient. Efficiency's overrated, Vax grumbled good-naturedly. all four arms gesturing expressively. It's about the journey, the discovery, the occasional mess that leads to a new combination. A commotion at the entrance drew their attention. Diana Thorne, now in custody, was being escorted through on her way to face the Galactic Council. She paused, looking over the scene of genuine cultural exchange with an unreadable expression. "You know what the saddest part is," she said quietly as Raina approached. "We really thought we were helping, creating universal happiness through perfect taste." "There's no such thing as perfect taste," Raina replied. "Just perfect moments of discovery. Like realizing that across all the vastness of space, different species can still share a meal and find common ground." As Diana was led away, Zixthor joined Raina. "The crystalline histories speak of a time when our people feared foreign tastes, believing they would corrupt our pure crystal resonance. Now we understand that new flavors don't diminish us. They help us grow." The summit continued late into the night, filled with laughter, debate, and countless small moments of cultural connection. Somewhere in the kitchen, Vax could be heard teaching an enthusiastic class about the importance of proper flame temperature in Martian cuisine. And at one particular table, a human commander and a crystalline diplomat shared a plate of perfectly grilled chicken, marveling at how a simple question about taste had led to a revolution in galactic cuisine, and perhaps, just perhaps, a small step toward greater understanding among the stars.